So I wanted to kind of do a different video today. I wanted to kind of do some manga recommendations because I was actually sent a package through the mail from my buddies at Viz Media, and I decided to check out these two manga that they sent me. They sent me No Gun's Life, and they sent me Levius. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Now, they basically is like, here you go, here's some manga, and they're like, read it, see how you feel, and, they told me, just tell us what you think. And so, here I am. I'm basically going to be giving my first impressions on, these two different manga. Now, I haven't completely finished both volumes at this time, but I have read enough to get a basic understanding of what the story kind of is, what to expect, and if it is good or not, and who out there would actually be enjoying this type of manga. So, to get right into it, if you're someone that loves cybernetic enhancements, like, for instance, if you love characters that have, like, augmentations to where they have, let's say, a gun-shaped head, like, literally the main character of No Gun's Life has a gun-shaped head, and if you like, let's say, how he has, like, a pistol, like a revolver in his hand, or if you like characters that have, like, cybernetic enhancements where their entire arms are, like, metal and stuff, basically, these two series are instantly gonna be for you. So, if you're someone that loves, like I said, futuristic style, something kind of like Ghost in the Shell, Megalobox, etc., you might enjoy these series. Now, if obviously you don't care about that, then these two manga are not going to be for you. But let's get right into it. No Gun's Life, because it was the first one I read, and honestly, the cover alone really, it drew me in. I mean, I love Levius's cover, and it's a really good cover, and I will get into that. But when I was reading this series, before I actually even read it, I was looking at the cover and I was like, that's a really unique design. Like, look at the character for a second. Like, look at the character. Look at just the way his design is. It's kind of simplistic, but his head being the shape of a gun is just so wacky. I've never saw that before. I've never actually thought that I would see a character with a gun as a head. I mean, if you've ever, let's say, read Gintama, you remember the camera guy, like, meme and stuff they used, like that parody that, Gintoki and all them used, but I mean, besides that, I just never thought I would see a design like that, and it's a really cool design. So, okay, to get right into it, what is No Gun's Life about? Well, obviously, besides it just being sci-fi, focused on cybernetics and, augmentation, all that with individuals, the story pretty much starts us off letting us know, kind of, that the world is different. It's taken a major shift, where everyone now, there's a shift in the world where there's individuals that want to get extended. That's basically the term for cybernetic enhancements in this verse. Basically, individuals that have augmented themselves to the point where you can't really say they're human anymore. For instance, aka our main character, Juzo. And then you have another side that's split, which is introduced very quickly. This other side that's obviously a faction that is against enhancements. They don't like enhancements at all. Now, as far as I've read, it hasn't been the major objective of the story yet, but obviously it's probably going to play a major role within this story, because something like that is always something that pops up in this genre. It doesn't mean it's bad, it's something that is very important, because it is a major moral dilemma, a question that many would have. Like, for instance, if right now, in real life, augmentations happen where you're able to literally just buy upgrades to your body to be able to enhance yourself, it would probably cause a lot of disputes within the real world, how world works. So, it makes sense why something like that would pop up in this type of story. Now, anyways, to get a little bit deeper into the story, at least from what I read, basically the MC, Juzo, he's a character that has two things he dislikes. He hates humidity, and he hates kids. Now, the reason why he hates humidity is because obviously when it's very humid outside, he can't really light a cigarette that well, but also it could cause rust to his gun head. So yeah, that's a big thing. And it's even stated throughout me reading this that he doesn't truly know if he can rust or not. He'd rather not take a risk. So he gets very worried about that. That's why he hates humidity. And then he hates kids. Now, the reason why he hates kids isn't because he necessarily hates them because he just doesn't want to be around them. He doesn't like kids because he is a softie. When you first look at his character, like when he's introduced and all that, like within the story, he actually just seems kind of like a mean guy. Like, when you just see his character, the way he interacts with individuals and stuff, he seems mean. But then, when you learn more about his character, it's very obvious that he has a really good heart. He cares about people, and especially if a kid is actually needing help, he will reach out and help them, even at the cost of his own well-being. And it just shows that most likely his background is checkered. Like, for instance, he probably had a really tough past growing up, because once again, he has been enhanced to the point to where you can't even say he's human anymore. He may have a human heart, but you could see that his overall outside appearance, he doesn't look human anymore. And it makes you wonder, was he forced to be that way? Like, was his body forced to turn into that? For instance, he was forcefully augmented, and he never had a choice to be human or not. There's a lot of questions that you raise while reading this story, at least as far as I read, and it's really cool. So, in terms of, like, I guess, characters to the artwork and all that, obviously, artwork, I really like the design. It really, you know, fits the scientific, futuristic style of the series. I mean, I love the character designs. I especially love the MC design, like I've already talked about. And I really do think that the story does have potential. I mean, this is not going to be for everyone. No Gun's life is not going to be for every individual. Like I've already said when I started this video, if you're someone that does not like futuristic stories, then it's not going to be for you. But if you do like something like this, like if you like Ghost in the Shell, etc., or if you like, you know, space shows, you're going to love it. So I recommend giving it a shot. Just give it a few chapters and check it out for yourself. Let's move on to Levius. Like I said, hopefully I'm pronouncing that name right. Now this one, in terms of just volume alone, it's a thick volume. Like, when you compare it to, let's say, No Gun's Life's first volume, you could just see the size difference. Like, it's a very different size, and the way also, the binding of it is. Now, personally, I don't really care, typically, about, like, my manga volumes if they're hardcover or softcover, because I'll still collect it regardless if it's a good story. However, I do admit, when I'm picking up a manga series, typically, when I see a cover of a story, like a new series or whatever, I usually will buy it even if I don't care about the story, just because of the way the cover looks. And I have to say, I think this cover is so simplistic in nature that it would definitely be an instant buy for some individuals just because of the gray tone to it, with the black, with the clothing. Just something so stylish but simplistic with this cover really just draws me to it. And like I said, I really like hardcovers. Even though I'm not picky, I do like hardcovers. So okay, to get right into it, the best way to describe this in a really simple way is that if you like Megalobox, which aired a few seasons back, almost like probably a year ago at this point, it was an anime series I reviewed on this channel. Megalobox was a boxing series. It was about individuals that had like these enhancements on their arms, like gear and all that, and they were able to go in and box. And if you remember the story, I'm not going to spoil anything. It was basically about the MC moving up the ranks to reach the top and become the best. And it's a typical theme for those type of stories. It, once again, doesn't mean it's bad, it just depends on execution. And it seems like Levius is along the lines similar to that in regard of it being about fighting, boxing, or, you know, just wanting to beat the crap out of your opponent with cybernetic enhancements. That's basically what this story is about. Now, in terms of the differences, obviously, you're probably wondering, okay, so if it's Megalobox, like Megalobox, what's the similarities, what is the difference, besides obviously the fighting, like, you know, just it being like something like boxing? Well, it actually has a hell of a lot more violence. This is very, very violent. So here's the image right here. Basically, he impels the dude. The MC literally impels the guy and goes straight through his chest with his fist. So in terms of, let's say, violence, it's definitely higher scale than Megalobox, because even though Megalobox was risky in some regard to probably having permanent wounds, it didn't have the characters literally impaling each other and potentially killing each other. That's kind of what separates this series from Megalobox. Now, it even states after the first chapter that the fatality rate is incredibly high for this sport, for the sport that's within this series. It's so high, in fact, that it's just dangerous, because if you don't have the right enhancements, or if you get, you know, in over your head, you're going to die, because there really is nobody that's going to be able to stop an individual in the ring from killing you. So I can definitely see, as the character goes along with the story and he moves higher and higher up, it's going to get more and more dangerous, because he's going to probably fight individuals that have some incredible upgrades, probably some high-tech upgrades that, you know, nobody's ever really seen before. He's probably going to fight companies that are testing out their new products and stuff that nobody really knows what to expect. Like, example, kind of how in Megalobox you had it to where, you know, Yuri, like one of the characters that the MC had to fight, you know, he was someone that had, like, this gear on that really showcased his overwhelming strength, but also the technology of a company. That's basically what I think that's going to happen to Levius, is that there's probably going to be individuals within this story that have gear on them, like cybernetic enhancements, that are just so high-tech, and they're not even ever been tested before. That's going to cause a lot of issues, and probably make our MC lose limbs in the long run, because it's very clear from the cover alone that, you know, he has an arm. He has a robotic arm. But as time goes on, it's possible that he might eventually cease to be human. Very similar to, you know, No Gun's life. His entire body might eventually become cybernetic to where he no longer has flesh and blood anymore. And I think that's a really interesting story to see the journey of how far this character will go to continue competing in these MMA fights. So yeah, I think it's a really good manga. I do like the style, and like I said already, I love the cover, but the artwork of this story is just absolutely beautiful. Like, I love the artwork, and I know it's probably, once again, not going to be for everyone, but I really do just love the way the faces are drawn. Like, look at the face there. The face is so beautiful if you look at that. So, I just think that this is definitely something I'm excited to read. I think I'm actually, if I had to compare the two right now between, let's say, No Gun's life and, you know, Levius, I'm probably going to read Levius first, and the reason why I'm going to finish this and all that, probably continue on when the next volume, if Viz releases it, is probably because I don't know, it's the character designs that really draw me in. Even though there's a unique design with this, I love the MC and his gunhead design. I just love the realistic designs to the characters within this story, but at the same time, I also just love the way the mechanical nature of it is drawn, too. But that's just my personal preference. But yeah, I think that, you know, I'm going to enjoy these two series. If you guys are interested in them, I'll have probably a link in the description if you guys can check them out for yourself. And also, if you do get these, obviously, it will be helping me out. I will appreciate it quite a bit. And I thank you guys so much for allowing me to have this opportunity. And also, thank you very much, Viz Media, for sending me these two manga to be able to give an actual first impressions on them. I do appreciate it quite a bit. I really do. And it's always nice to be able to start a new series and see what's kind of out there. Kind of open my eyes up to new things. So, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Viz. Thank you so much, all of you individuals a part of this community, because once again, you guys in the community right now, if it wasn't for you guys helping me out, helping this channel, then I wouldn't be given this opportunity from Viz. So, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and this goes to all of you. And once again, if you do want to support me, you know, like I said, go in the description, you can purchase your own copy of this. It does help me out. And so I love you guys. You have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.